Uh, Ayo, Evan. No lah. Okay, but thanks for the support. I'm sure you're very handsome too. Yeah. Okay, let me just share my screen first, just so that I am able to control the slideshow smoothly. Yeah, can you all see the screen? You can, right? Okay, cool. So, yes, let's just jump straight into it. Thank you for your patience. We were dealing with some technicals earlier, but I'm glad we're all here. And thank you so much for spending your evening with us here. I'm sure we're all excited to learn about Qimen or even learn what is Qimen in the first place. And so I'm here to walk you through a quick preview into what exactly is Qimen, what can it do for you, and why you should consider investing some time into exploring the world of Qimen, because Qimen has single-handedly changed my life. And that's part of the reasons why I went off for a bit. But let me just start from the top with a quick introduction into who is Cliff. So I am based in Singapore, but I am actually physically in KL now. So hello, everybody. My slide. Yes. So what I do is I consider myself a bit of a coach consultant, coaching and consulting combined together. If you're familiar with the coaching methodology, you understand that it is very much driven by the coachee. However, in the realm of metaphysics and in the realm of astrology and the spiritual tools that we use, sometimes the consultant needs to step in and help guide you to save everyone a lot of time. And so that's why I call myself a little bit of a coach consultant. The people that I've been helping over the past couple of years, I've basically been able to distill them into Asian leaders, business owners, and parents, because this is exactly who I am as well. I lead a global portfolio in one of the big tech companies. You might have heard of it. And it's not difficult to find where I currently am right now. I also run two businesses, one in the medical field and one in the metaphysics field. And the major reason why I have gone off social media for the past couple of years was because I became a parent twice. And so parents in the chat, are there any parents in the chat? Just put a 1 in the chat. I'm sure you understand how fun it is, how precious it is. The days are long, but the years are very, very short. So that's what's been up with me. But basically, one thing that I've been proud of also is that over the past couple of years, I've not stopped consulting. And I've been very happy and excited with the results that I'm seeing as well. Being in tech, we measure things right down to like every little point of data, every data point we try and track and plot. And so I've applied that into the metaphysics space as well. And one of the things I'm most proud of is over the past 3 years, I've helped to unlock $1.1 million in SGD worth of material value for my clients, using both astrology and psychology while becoming a new dad. So this is a revelation for me as well. And I personally suffer from imposter syndrome. Despite looking at these numbers in a very factual way, I still feel like it's, for me to actually say it out loud, it's like, like, so what? But I understand that it's important to actually say this out, because it helps people around me understand that it is not a difficult thing to do if you just commit to it and do the right things at the right time, which is basically what Qimen is. And beyond material, because we are still moving out of period 8, which is very earth, very material, very money driven, and moving into period 9, which is more fire, spiritual. And if you're familiar with Western astrology, we're moving into the age of air as well, or the air era. And that's more, inclusiveness, community building, and moving away from the Western earth as well, which is also linked directly to wealth and stuff like that. It's important to still recognize that the material impact and value that we create in our world and the people around us. But more importantly, right, what mattered to me was the connection with personal power, both for myself and for my clients. I mentioned imposter syndrome, and that's one recurring theme that keeps coming up. And so that's the thing that I enjoy working with as well, like on my one-to-one coaching sessions with my long-term clients as well. Seeing them connect and unlock their personal power really, really is the thing for me, lah, basically. So I have studied metaphysics for about 10 years, astrology. So I also left Chinese metaphysics to see if there was something else that I could resonate with as well. And so that's why I did Western astrology, specifically psychological astrology. And now I have, in my personal practice, I've combined both methods into a single consulting session. Based on the needs, the requirements, and the requests of the clients as well. So, yeah, that's where I've been. And one thing that I don't often say, but now I'm going to start saying a lot more is that behind everything, I've been using Qimen. So not a lot of people know this, but after this session, I think most people will start to hear this over and over again. Behind everything, what drives most of my business decisions, my parental decisions, and basically daily life, making better decisions, is driven by Qimen. And some of the results I'm happy to show in the next couple of slides. Like what are the results that came from me using Qimen. But I think maybe slow down a little bit and take a step back. How many of you are familiar with Qimen? Like you've heard of it, you've used it, you've tried it. Can you put one in the chat? Okay. Yeah, quite a bit. How many of you have not interacted with Qimen before and you're just here because Esther persuaded you to come here? Like, join the webinar, join the webinar. If that's you, put number two, like you totally have no clue what Qimen Tunjia is. Any tools here? Ah, okay. Okay. So you guys, you did. Okay. So well, she says she didn't force you, but don't worry, you can private message me if she did. But basically, what I understand from the chat right now is that most of you have at least some sort of exposure or familiarity with Qimen. For the people who are shy or unable to interact with the chat, let me just do a really quick run through of what Qimen is, in my own words. So Qimen is basically a part of a set of three divination or forecasting methodologies. So you've got Qimen, you've got Da Liu Ren, and you've got the third one, which I forgot the name of, which is a slightly longer name. All three are part of the family of divination systems. However, the one that is the easiest to learn, for me lah, at least, is Qimen. And the one that I've been using very regularly is Qimen as well. So that's why I'm here talking about this. I wouldn't teach you something that I've not learned or not tried personally on myself and eventually my clients as well. One of the common things you would probably have heard of it in the market is that Qimen can be used basically to do the right thing, the right action at the right time, in the right place or space. Whoops. Yeah, in the right place or space, using the most important thing, the right energy. Okay, so this text on the screen right now is very long. So if I were to cut out everything and focus on the most important thing, it is action, time, place, energy. So 4 levels, 4 different components that need to interact with each other to help create the outcome that you desire. Okay, and you would have heard in the Chinese metaphysics space, like it's always about doing the right thing. But here, the thing that is often missing is the right energy. So when you hear of like in Qimen, you need to face this direction, you want to wait for this deity or this door and stuff like that. It's all about trying to align the right energy so you have the smoothest possible experience, road, and to minimize the amount of things that can go wrong. It's not perfect. It's not perfect. Nothing is perfect. I've encountered very serious consequences of just trying to activate or achieve something. I got what I wanted, but there's always yin and yang and balance. Some of the things and the price that I had to pay, let's consider it as my tuition fee. But the main difference then is the type of energy that you want to use when you apply or execute your plans. So that's basically how I would describe Qimen. Some of the common users in simple terms in English that you would be familiar to you would be destiny analysis. So you would have probably learned 八字 from Esther here before. And one of the users of 八字 is obviously to understand your life, your destiny, the road and the pathways that you are walking on. You can do something similar with Qimen, called Qimen Destiny Analysis, and that basically maps the spiritual energy and the spiritual path that you would go through. Very similar, but it's a more energetic way of reading your destiny. The second thing is Qimen Feng Shui. This is, I wouldn't say it's a replacement for Feng Shui. Feng Shui, I personally use it because um, I live in a city, I live in Singapore, and it's built up areas everywhere. And if you're familiar with Feng Shui, we want to look for mountains, we want to look for rivers, open spaces, Mingtang. So it's in Singapore, it's very unlike some of the participants here. You are in the US, in Mexico, even in Hong Kong, you have like legit proper mountain formations as well. I lived in Hong Kong for a couple of years, by the way, so I really missed that. And that was my formative time where I locked myself in my room and just practiced Qimen. But yeah, Qimen Feng Shui, sorry, I was going off tangent. But Qimen Feng Shui, the way I use it is, I personally find it more ideal for built up spaces in cities such as Singapore and Malaysia, where there's not a lot of options in terms of landforms and stuff like that. So I use it to basically see whether this is a space that is suitable for resting or for setting up a home office. You know, over the past couple of years with the pandemic, there's a lot of work from home. So that was something that helped me in my career as well. And that's Qimen Feng Shui. And the third one will be forecasting and divination. And the fourth one will be strategy, execution, and manifesting. So I'm talking about number 3 and number 4 together because in the Telegram poll, I see that a lot of you, the overwhelming topic that you requested is making better decisions. So how do you make better decisions? The way I use Qimen is basically forecasting and divination. I'll show you a couple of graphs in the next few slides on how this visually might look like. It's not like the sure win kind of pathway. There's always a give and take, a trade-off that you need to be aware of when you do a forecast and divination and when you choose the execution or the strategy for your execution. But basically, the way I practice it, number 3 and number 4, forecasting and execution always comes hand in hand. Unless you are a bit gossipy like me, and I just want to check in on how this person is doing, or I want to check in on whether or not any of the drama in my circle of friends is progressing, I will probably use forecasting just to see, just to satisfy my curiosity. I wouldn't recommend you doing that on a regular basis. It's not a good use of your time, but if it's just for practice, sure, we can probably talk about it. Any questions at this point in time on the 4 applications of Qimen? Oops, sorry. All good, yeah? Okay, so I am talking a lot. I'm using a lot of words. I'm saying destiny analysis. I'm saying Qimen Feng Shui. I'm saying strategy, execution, manifesting. But in the real world, how does this look like? What kind of results can we get from actually using Qimen? So here are some examples. So I'm just going to skip why Qimen because when I show you the results of Qimen, it kind of like will explain itself. So the first one here would be if you were around a couple, 3-ish years ago, and you've seen me talking on webinars, this is the same example that I use. This is the start of my Qimen journey. So I've been learning Qimen for about 2-3 years at this point in time. Minimum 3 years at this point in time. And I was in what I consider my dream job. It's still my dream job. I was based in Hong Kong. I had a lot of fun. I traveled a lot. and it was a career highlight. It still is a career highlight, and it has defined the rest of my career trajectory. Unfortunately, there were things that happened at home that I needed to return home to look after. And I was also ironically unhappy for many different reasons. Let's just take it as a face value. So back in 2019, I had enough and I resigned on the spot without a job. And I was working in Hong Kong. I'm Singaporean. So being foreigner, you have only 30 days to find a new job. If not, you have to leave the country. I think this is the same for many or all countries that you if you're working there without permanent residency. So it's a scary situation because not only did I not have a visa to stay beyond 30 days, I also didn't have an income. I didn't have any savings as well, because I was single back then and I was partying a lot. And so, I was in a lot of debt. So what you see on the picture in the slide that I'm showing is basically my notebook, my Qimen notebook. I mentioned I learned Qimen for about 3 years at this point in time, but I never really applied it. It's one of those just for fun. Qimen is like so cool, so mysterious, and it's just nice to know. But the most that I had used it for was to help my friends look at relationships. Like, am I compatible with this person? Does this person like me or not? Is it possible for us to be in a relationship? Fun, exciting, but not really important questions, in my personal opinion, because they weren't really going to settle down and stuff like that. So this was the first time I really needed this to work. And if you look at the bullet points on the slide, this was the entire interview process. I have a longer presentation for this one where I detail every single day, every single round of the interview, what direction I used, what formations I used. But basically here, the main thing to understand is that this was my interview into big tech, okay, LinkedIn, basically. And in big tech, interview processes minimum at fastest is 3 months long. On average, it's 3 months to 6 months interview process. But in this case, while using Qimen, I was late to the interview stack. For those of you in HR, you will know that there's a slate of candidates and they'll go through round 2, round 3. And usually by round 3, you kind of have the final set of like 2 to 3 candidates already. However, I came in as a last candidate or a late candidate on the interview cycle, and so they were able to speed me through the entire process. And if you look at the dates are very close together. 16 to 17 May is one day. 30th of May to 6th June is like about 1 week. And so, like I mentioned, in big tech, 3 months fastest I've ever seen. But in this case, within 28 days, one lunar cycle, I was able to get a job offer immediately after the final round. And not only that, I had a 35% salary increment on my base, not just the stock options. And this was like the most amount of money I've ever seen. And beyond that, also, there were other stock options on top of that, and I was able to become debt-free in 1 year. And so I think one thing that's very important is that there's a lot of spiritual people or spiritual practices that say that, you shouldn't be so tied down to material things and money and stuff like that. But I think it makes a big difference. If you are fighting to survive and you're stressed out and you're worried about when your next meal or the rent or your mortgage is going to come from, it's very difficult to practice, to have that headspace to practice properly. So one of the things I want to be able to, give to you in this webinar by the end of this session is give you some sort of like immediate applications that you can use like right now to help move your life forward if you need it. If not, then make it even better. Okay, so this is the first success story personally. And then when it happened, I got a final offer. I started my new job. I was like, wow, this Qimen thing is real. It's amazing. It's like, if I can do this just for my job, what else can I do? And so one of the most, rite of passage, big things that any Singaporean child would have to go through in Singapore is to purchase property. It's ridiculously expensive. But I was like, Qimen works. Let's try using it. And so I was able to manifest a mountain home using Qimen. within 15 months at a 15% discount. So what happened was, this was in 2019, and I had managed to sell my public housing, HDB, if you're familiar with that. And the next step after selling was to obviously look for a new home. And so I used Qimen to look like, okay, which part of Singapore would be a good place for me to look for a home that was feng shui compliant, good for wealth, because I was, still chasing that. And so the picture on the left is a picture from the internet. I wanted nice mountains, a mountain home lah, basically. And I printed it out, I laminated it, and I used it as my vision board to manifest. And so after selling the house, I was looking at the Qimen chart. Where should I go or look for this new house? But the chart didn't tell me a direction. The chart instead told me not to buy, but instead I should rent. And it didn't make sense. It's zero sense at all. But fortunately, I had experienced the positive effects of Qimen. And so I was like, okay, fine, let's just trust the chart and just go with it. Let's rent. And so this was in 2019. What happened in 2020? Can anyone type in the chat if you remember what happened in 2020? Starts with a C. COVID. I'm probably not seeing the chat go up right now. Something on my screen, but yeah, COVID happened, and there was lockdowns. In Singapore, it's called a circuit breaker, and the property prices started to drop. It went all the way down at least 20%. But because I was renting, I was locked into a rental agreement for at least 13 months. And so by the time I was able to purchase a property, prices had started to recover. But instead of a 20% discount, it was a 15% discount. And looking at the property prices in Singapore, 15%, 5%, yeah, 15% is still a significant amount. And in the amount of time, 15 months, that's quite decent as well. So yeah, that again solidified, my belief in the execution aspect of Qimen. And to take things further, just this month, this is still May, right? Yeah, this month, I managed to sell the property that I was in, the mountain home, which looks very similar out the window from the manifesting photo, for 54% profit 3 years later. So again, using Qimen. So this is about execution, but before execution, you need to use what's that called? Forecasting chart, the divination and the planning chart as well. So all of this, if we have time in our sessions in the class, I'm happy to go into a lot more detail. But here is just a quick high-level summary of what happened and how what kind of amazing life-changing results it has produced. And more than that, it helped to double my return on investment within 6 months. For some of you who may be intimidated by the complexity of Qimen, by the sheer number of things that you're seeing on the chart, like, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things within one box. And then there are 9 boxes in the Qimen chart. And then on top of that, you need to look at the day stamp and the hour stamp. And it's like, wow, okay, where do I even start? And this is an example of how a very simple yes or no question helped to drive return on investment, your ROI. And the question was, will Tesla join the S&P 500? So this was back in 2020, I think. And if you are familiar with basic reading of the chart, here the chart says it's a yes. So obviously you cannot use this for any single stock counter lah. This was when there were a lot of rumors. It had reached a certain size and financials that it made sense that it's going to go into S&P. It's just a matter of time. This was the final confirmation forecasting that I used, and I put my money in. And that was in July. And on 21st of December, it was accepted into the S&P 500. But over the past 6 months, if you look at the stock price, it's been gradually going up. And so by the time it actually entered, it had 2.1x my initial investment. So only regret was that I didn't put more in. And basically this is just an example of how you can use it for your own investments. It's not this simple, it's not this straightforward, but this is just an example of how it can help you make that final decision, that final missing jigsaw piece in your decision making, especially if you're a senior executive, if you're a business leader, or if you own your own business. Your job is to deal with complexity. Your job is to deal with uncertainty. But how do you know that you are making the right decision? Like in one of the businesses that I own, should we hire or should we hire a full-time or should we hire a part-time? Very simple, quite basic questions like that. Or should we invest in hiring in the first place, or should we invest in marketing and social media presence and stuff like that? So both are equally important, but we only have enough resources for one of them. So Qimen, in such an instance, can help you be like the tiebreaker and drive you towards that business success that you're looking for. So that's another example as well. And then the next question that often comes up at this point in time is that, but I have no background in metaphysics, or I have very basic understanding of what Qimen is, which is what we have in today's group. That's not to worry. You're not alone, and that doesn't stop you from achieving amazing results. Because I'm going to stop talking about me and I'm going to start talking about my clients. This is June. So she was an employee. She's in healthcare. Okay, she's a frontline healthcare person. And when I first met her, she was an employee, and she was struggling for years with like the unethical work environment that she was in. Like there's a lot of cut corners. People were just rushing through treatments, and just to finish the day. And her salary was very stagnant. It was just at that level. There was no movement, very minimal. And then after working with her, there was a lot of like internal imposter syndrome. Like, can I do this on my own? I need to stay in this stable, safe, secure job. Sound familiar? Stable, safe, secure job. And even though it's not going to pay me much, it is safe, it is secure, it is predictable. But after a long time of working together, we helped to build a roadmap for her to like, okay, let's slowly take the first step out, move towards part-time, and then move towards owning her own business. Now, after how long has it been? 4 years. After 4 years, she now earns 2 to 3 times her previous income as an employee in half the amount of time. Okay, so it's not just earning more, it's also working less. Okay, that's amazing, right? But more importantly, right, she has overcome her sense of self-doubt, her sense of being an imposter, a sense of like, I'm not good enough. Despite the fact that her patients, this is medical, right? So this is like literally quality of life, telling her that her patients telling her that she has changed her life. She wasn't able to accept that. But now after using Qimen, primarily Qimen, she was able to turn everything around and be able to see that by stepping out of that restrictive structure that was stable, safe, and predictable, she's now able to improve the quality of life, more lives around her, and not just the ones that enter the hospital system that she was in. So, yeah, amazing growth, and now she's a lot happier, a lot more confident, and starting to expand her business. Next, we have Sharon, who is also in wellness, not medical frontline, but in well-being and wellness coaching. She previously was in an endless spiral of like always wanting to try new things, but oh, I'm not good enough, or I learn a little bit only. I know like topic A, topic B, Western astrology, numerology, a little bit of things here and there, and I'm not good enough. Sound familiar? I'm not good enough to help someone around me. The main thing that we discovered after working with her was that there were people that she went for consults with that told her that she has a bad chart. You shouldn't think about helping others when you cannot help yourself. That was not exactly the words, but the message was primarily that. And because of that, message that she received, everything that she did, right, was like, oh no, I'm never going to be good enough. Oh, I shouldn't help you because I'll drag you down with me because I have a bad chart. I know I have a bad luck and stuff like that. So after working with her, again, using primarily Qimen, we managed to change the way that she looked at things, and realize and understand the fact that she was getting joy from helping people. And she genuinely wanted people to get better. We restructured a little of her processes and the way that she approached things. She now doubles her sales after she rebranded. And most importantly, she's having a lot of fun doing it. Her target audience are women and helping them overcome, struggles and a lot of the unconscious messaging that exists in our society that, oh, you're a woman, therefore you are XYZ, you can only ABC, and so on and so forth. And so she's having a lot of passion, fun, creativity in the way that she helps with her clients as well. Again, all of this came right down to Qimen. Lastly, here we have LB. So she's comfortable with me sharing the story, but not her identity. So we're just gonna keep her initials. LB is self-employed in the service industry. And she, as you can see there, this is verbatim. She was unsure whether she was in the right career. She wanted to do a lot of things, but there was a lot of hesitation, a lot of that imposter syndrome again, like, will it succeed? I got scammed before, this and that. The Qimen, she gravitated, she resonated a lot with Qimen. And basically in that consult, just by reading the forecasting chart, the prediction chart, the divination chart, she was able to be like, yes, okay, what you just said makes sense. And now I feel a lot more confident in the decision that I'm making. And so she achieved a level up, maybe not quite 2x, but it's the start. And she's more importantly at peace with the decisions that she's making. Again, we're coming back to decision making and how that affects all the pathways that you will travel along in your life. Okay. And I think, can I share this? Yeah, I think I can. One of the main drivers for her was to build a better life for her family. And because there was that driver, that desire to help people other than herself, that was why the results after the achievement implementation came a lot faster. It's not just selfish enhancements. Yeah. So that's that. Three case studies of life-changing impact after achievement, both learning as well as implementing. Uh, yeah, I every time I see these people, I'm like, wow, okay, this is really, really amazing. Quick pause here. Any questions from anybody while I take a quick drink of water? Time check. Okay, so a quick freebie for everybody. We've talked a lot. I've talked a lot about what Qimen is and what the results are, the impact is for both myself and the people that I've been working with. But something for you to start exploring. There are a couple of Qimen apps that are out there in the market that are free, completely free to use. And these are the three that I've highlighted or shortlisted. The one on the left is Intuchi. This is available both on the Apple Store as well as the Play Store, free to download, free to create an account. The one on the right, Mchimen, is also free. There are multiple settings available. If you're a slightly more advanced user, you can choose the Qi flow system, which is the Caipu or the Ziren system, if you're familiar with that, but a bit too technical. If you need more technical adjustments, then Qimen. If you need something that is, hands off, I just need to start using it, is the one on the left into Qi. And the one in the middle is mine. I'm developing an app as well that incorporates both Western and Chinese astrology together. It's still in development. The first version will be out in the next couple of months in July. But if you're interested in, just being on the wait list to get notifications, just feel free to scan the QR code. No pressure. It's free. It's going to be free. Just a quick heads up. Sorry, Esther. Okay. So now, what is forecasting and divination? I've been circling around this topic. I've been using or mentioning forecasting, better decisions over and over during the entire course of my presentation. I am choosing to focus on this again because this was what most of you said you wanted to use Qimen for. So I think to clarify and to help us all align on the same page on what exactly is forecasting and divination, in the way that I practice it, this is what I wanted to focus on. So this picture I think is very meaningful, and also a good way to show how forecasting plays, how forecasting is applicable in our lives. On the left side of the, that looks like a brain, all the little pathways, right? The one in black on the left, there is one highlighted path in red/pink where you're born, and then the life path that has brought you to where you are today, right in the center. Okay, so you cannot change the past. All those pathways are close to you. You've chosen one fork in the road, and now that's where you are. But the good news is you are here today in this same room with all of us. And I truly, truly believe that all of these kinds of gatherings are never by coincidence. We are all connected. There's always some form of common thread that brings us all together. There's a reason why everything, fell into place. But what's more important is that right now in front of you is an infinite number of pathways that you can choose to walk. And it's represented on the right, all that different branching roads. Which one do you want to walk? Which one would bring you the most wealth? Which one will bring you the most happiness? Which one will bring you the most amount of meaning and contentment in your life? In order for us to do that, we need to first understand if what you're looking for is even in the realm of possibility. So right now, the blue horizontal line in the center, that's our current reality right now. The X on the left is where we are. And let's say right now, I want to become a millionaire within the next 2 months. Hey, that's a possible reality, right? I want to become a millionaire within the next 2 months. Let's call that option A. So option A will why when I click on annotate, it keeps me out? Anyway, when we click on option A, you will see that it's outside the realm of possibility. So at this level, basic level, we'll just say that it's not going to be possible. It's outside of your reach right now. So, okay, I try to be a little bit more realistic. Let's say I want to have a multinational business within the next 2 months again. So let's call it option C. Yeah, as we see from the chart here, it's outside of the realm of possibility. So at this level, let's just say, okay, not quite ready for that yet. However, if we look at the third possible reality and say that I want to be able to start impacting the lives of the people around me in a positive way, by making better decisions. So I just plucked that out of the air. Okay, that's very possible, and that's going to be option B, and that's right in the middle of the realm of possibility. So Qimen will be able to tell you what is realistic or not. Okay, Qimen will be able to tell you what is realistic or not, what is possible and what is not quite possible. Okay, I need to erase this. Okay, it's been a while since I used Zoom. Okay, and then more than that, once we're comfortable with the outcome and the reality that we want to move towards, which is I want to try and impact or make the lives of the people around me, what's the fastest way to get there? So here in this visualization, we see that there's two pathways. The one in red, it goes up and down, up and down. You still get to there, you still get to the end result regardless, which is fine. However, I'm sure we're all at the age right now where we don't have time to waste. We don't want to waste time. We've gone through so many cycles of self-doubt, so many cycles of like putting ourselves down, so many cycles of saying, yeah, one day I'm going to do this. And so that ends here, and we want to make it the fastest possible transition towards this desired reality and move out from our current blue line reality. And so we see that it's pathway 2, and you can see that in the Qimen chart. It tells you exactly what to do, what kind of actions to take, and be able to move you towards that desired reality. Okay. Yeah, sorry, I saw a hand go up just now. Was there a question from anybody? Esther or Cindy? No? Okay, cool. Okay, no problem. If there's any question, just feel free to drop it in the chat. Um, it also plots the shortest path to your desired destiny. So that's the amazing thing for Qimen. It just reduces all your time for trial and error. Yeah, can still get to where you want through trial and error, but why not cut that out? So the main difference in how fast you can get to the desired reality is basically how you ask your questions. So most of us at this level, which is fine, is if you're making a hiring decision, then this is a real chart. This is something that I used like in April last month when I was hiring somebody for one of my businesses. And I also make the same mistake. Like, should I hire her? Like, I really like this person, but should I hire her? And asking that question, should I hire her? It basically tells the universe, or basically tells the energetic field that you just want a yes no question, yes no um answer. And so the chart just outright says, if you know how to read it, in the direction and all that, this let me just teach you now. I'm looking at the hour, which is this Wu Earth, which you see here, okay? And it is going against the life door, which represents my business. So basically, this is a very simple explanation. Not going to go through too much detail. And because it's in a countering relationship, by right, the answer is no, I should not hire her. And so that's why this brings me to the next point. Asking the right question is very important, because if we change the question, which I did, because I like this person, I wanted her to join. I changed the question to, if I hire her, how do I best deploy her to maximize our launch? So this is the app that I showed you earlier that I'm building. So if I do hire her, what is the position that I should put her in so that all of us benefit? And here again, you start to see that we have the outcome, which is G Earth, and you see that on the right hand side of the chart. And now it's in a producing relationship with the life door, which represents the business. Okay. So now it's not again, remember, this is not a yes or no question, but when we first start out, it's fine to use yes, no questions because it is easy and not so confusing. But now you start to see that the answer that the chart tells me is that I need to give her a role where she manages the global launch of the app in a very structured and systematic way. Let her have her space, do her own thing. And what does this mean in simple English? Basically, let her run and plan and run the go-to-market campaign for the app. Okay, so this is the kind of business decisions that you can make using Qimen, or use Qimen to help you um, make your decisions across the many different areas of life, right? Again, the most important thing is how you ask your question. So right now, I'm just going to pause and just give you this. If nothing else, if you're not going to join the class, later on in June, at least you have this little skill set to take away, and that's asking the right question and how to really simply read the chart, whether it's a yes or no. Again, I know I said I don't encourage yes, no questions, but at this level, when you're first starting out, there's nothing right or wrong. It's easier to start with a yes, no question. So does anybody have a question that you want to try and throw into the chat that I can help you shape the question to something that is valuable or useful? And then we can probably look at the chart and do a quick reading. And Esther, do we have time? Just pull me back if not. Okay, I'm just looking at the chat. Do, 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 do. Huh. Okay, got it. Okay, I just been informed that I need to be conscious of the time. So I hope I'm not seeing any questions from the group. Uh but if you do feel called to ask a question, that's fine. Okay, I see one. I have a niece looking for a job. When will she get hired? Okay, when will she get hired? Okay, so let's try and thank you so much, Daniel, for putting in the question. Let's start off with trying to change the question a little bit. Okay, when will she get hired? The way that we're asking when will she get hired means do you understand what I mean when I say when you ask a question, when will this happen? You are surrendering your ability to control and influence your life. Yeah. So just to cut things short and go straight to the point, how I would probably change the question is I have a niece that's looking for a job. What's the best thing that she can do now to help her get hired? Yeah. Okay, so do you see the difference? The original question that was asked is when will she get hired? Which means I have no choice, I have no control. I'm just gonna let my life, the universe move me down this road. To changing it to what can she do to get a job as soon as possible? Okay, so I have this chart right now, which is the 8 o'clock chart. I know we're in 9 o'clock. So by right, we should use the 9 o'clock chart. But let's just for demonstration show you this one. Uh okay. I saw another question also, I think from Maria. How do I know if it's a yes or a no? So this will really help also. Um, okay. So the thing that we want to look at is the outcome. For Daniel's question, the outcome that he's looking for is for his niece to get a job. So right now, the hour, we're going to look at the hour. And the hour is run on my chart here, on my chart, this one that I'm looking at right now. Okay, I know that is a different time right now, but I'm looking at this, I'm hosting this chart. This is the run, and this is the outcome. The outcome is the niece finds a job. Okay, so where is run on this Qimen chart? The Qimen chart is always a 3 by 3 grid. And right now, I'm just going to point it out to you. Run is in the bottom left. Run is in the bottom left. Why are we looking at run? Because run is the hour that we're in right now. Okay, and the hour is the outcome, which is finding a job. So we want to look for a job. A job is represented by the open door. Okay, the job is represented by the open door. Why? It just is. It just is. Okay, so now what we want to see is the whole objective right now of looking at the chart is to connect the dots, like connect four, and to to make the chi flow from one point to another point in the shortest road possible. So the relationship between this run box in the bottom left and this open box in the middle right is one that doesn't that it's not a producing cycle. So this one actually is produced by the outcome. And so what we actually want is for the oh wait, actually sorry, let me start again. Apologies, guys. Okay, so we want the day. Okay, why the day? Because the day is the asker. Okay, the outcome still stands. The outcome still stands, but I just want to make this a lot easier because I only have 2 minutes to go through this. So the asker is Kuei, and the Kuei is here in the east. The focus point is the job, and the job is represented by open. So right now you see that this is a countering relationship. Okay, west counters east. But what we want to do is to make this flow towards the east. Right now, instead of a straight line, we want to try and make it into a smoother line like this. So I will go into a lot more detail during the class on why is this curve and why this direction. But for those of you that are familiar, this is metal producing water, which produces the asker. Okay, I apologize. I probably confused some of you by going into Ren. So just ignore everything that I just mentioned just now and just focus on what I'm showing you right now. Open door is the job, and we want the job to come to the asker, which is represented by the day, which is Kui. Okay, and so what your niece should do, Daniel, is all represented in this job, in this box in the north. Okay, and so here, just I know that there's like so many things here, but the short answer is basically I'm going to focus on this ambassador. Ambassador is learning new skills. Ambassador is getting someone to advocate for you as well. So is there someone within your network, your connection, or within her did she do any CCA, activities or student clubs, or did she do any internships before? Stuff like that. Things that are represented or connected to people that will be able to advocate or promote her in her absence. And that's one of the things that she can do to help her get her the job. And interestingly also, it's going to happen over the next couple of weeks, I would say, if she starts to take action right now. I'm just looking at other elements of the chart as well. But yeah, that's the timeline that you are going to look at. Okay. Okay, I really hope I didn't confuse any too many people. Any questions on this? Okay, I understand that this is not very clear because we only have like a really quick time, but this hopefully demonstrates how how reading a chart gives you and shaping the question before you read the chart gives you better insight rather than when will this thing happen for me and changing it into what can I do to expedite? What can I do to make things easier? Okay. And like I said, there's a lot of elements in each of these boxes. And I understand that it's going to be intimidating, it's going to be confusing. And that's why we need to spend time to go through in the class step by step. I'm going to break it down into actual step by step. Step one, what you're going to look at. Step two, what you're going to look at. Step three, how you're going to connect the first two together. Okay. So, okay. I'm looking at the questions now. I see a question. I made an investment with a business investment group. I think I've been scammed. How can I get my money back? Okay. So let's just use that one question. I think this is an anonymous submission, so I'm not going to review the name. So the question is, I have an investment with a group, and I think I have been scammed. Sorry, Esther, what? Yeah, okay, got it. Sorry, she was just communicating with me. Okay. So, okay, let me just read the question again. I made an investment with a business group. I think I've been scammed. How can I get my money back? Okay, let's look at this. Um, let's look at this. Okay. Because this is the second asker, can I get the year of birth from the person that asked this question? If you're okay with revealing who you are, just type in the chat to everybody. If not, you can type it to the host and panelists. I will just need your year of birth. I don't need the full birthday. Okay, so I've gotten the information in the chat. Let me just show you now. So that person's year of birth, XXX, ends in a 1. Okay, ends in a 1 represents sin metal. Okay, don't ask me why. I'll explain it in the class. But for now, for the purposes of this demonstration, the person that's asking this is right here in sin. Okay, and so the question is, how can I get my money back? I think the question that should come before that is, have you indeed been scammed? Okay. And so here, what we see in the chart, the current condition of the asker is, you see these elements here. There's a death door and there's grain. Grain represents money. Grain represents investments as well. So she's definitely this is definitely the correct chart, because you see that the subject matter of money and investments is together with the asker, and there is concern about the end of the investment, okay, which is, you know, death. And so when it comes to investment or profit driven questions, right, I will look at this thing called the life door or sheng door, and it's based here at the bottom of the chart, while the asker is based here at the top of the chart. So what we see here in terms of the element flow, at the bottom of the chart, you see it's blue color, so that it represents water. At the top is red, so that represents fire. Water and fire are not friends. Water and fire clashes. Okay, so unfortunately, the person that asked this question, the answer unfortunately is most likely yes, this is an ongoing scam. But the good thing is, how can you get your money back? Okay, you're not asking a yes/no question and leaving it there. We're trying to take power back into our own hands and trying to ask, how does the chart tell me I can get my money back? So like I said, we always want to try and make the chi flow across the 5 elements so that it benefits the asker. Again, the asker is represented by this circle in the top. And so what we want to do is try and move it to this box here, because water produces wood, and wood subsequently produces fire. Okay, I know confusion, I know, don't worry, I've been there, and we'll break it down step by step in the class. But for now, for this demonstration, we want to take actions represented by this box. Okay, why this box and not this box? Again, I'll explain later. But here, what we see here is chief. So chief is someone in authority. Okay, and delusion is someone that is hidden, someone that is not very publicly seen or well known. So is there someone that you know that is well known or well connected in this investment space, that knows of this kind of groups, or it knows their way around this area? Okay, and is experienced, has a big reputation, and so on and so forth. What we want to do is try and locate that person in real life, reach out to them and ask for assistance. Okay, so in a full-on consult, I would, go through and have a long conversation. Do you know someone that looks like this? Do you know someone that does this? But here, because it's a quick demonstration, this is your best bet of getting your money back. Okay. It's difficult because it's online. Yeah. Yeah. So that's also the delusion door. So they are well hidden, unfortunately. But this person that can help you is also someone that is hidden. But it is definitely possible. It is definitely possible. It's not something that has to take multiple steps, and it's something that you can execute or take action on. Okay, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time to go through all the details and the exact steps. But this is my purpose of doing this, is to demonstrate how we can see these kind of things just from a chart and some basic questions. And again, shaping the questions so that you are able to take action rather than surrender your power to when will this happen, or should I do this, and just let the universe push you forward. Okay. Okay, shall we move on? Yeah. Okay. So, what are we offering? What am I offering in this Qimen journey that we're proposing, that we're presenting to you as part of this preview? Is basically a journey towards making better decisions. Again, coming back to better decisions, because better decisions are the first step that you can take to change your life. Okay, some of you are worried about your family members. Some of you are worried about investments going wrong. Some of you are worried about health even. What are the first initial steps that you can take? And that's basically all. That all can be found from the Qimen chart. Okay, how you read them is basically what we're going to cover in the course. And most importantly for me, while all of those surface level results help you increase your money or increase your well-being, the most important thing for me is for you to be able to break out of your imposter syndrome. I think honestly, just within the first day of the class, you will be able to start reading charts and start impacting the lives of the people around you. And I want you to have that confidence to start applying it already. Okay, it's always the first step that's the hardest. Once you cross that, then everything starts to fall into place. Like really. It's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason. Yeah. And so what exactly is on the pathway that we have built? These are the five main components. It's split into subdivisions, but these are the five main topics that we're going to cover. The first one is the fundamental components. You saw just now in the demonstration that there were many elements or many components in just one single square of the box, and there are 9 boxes. So to understand the 9 boxes, we start with one of them and what are each of the individual elements. What is a deity? What is a door? What is a stem? What is a star? All that basic level stuff and the interpretations. Then we're going to spend a lot of time on crafting the question, like you saw just now. And then the next 3 components is basically application. Now you've got the basic theory enough to start walking. Let's try applying it. What are the basics in forecasting? How to see if it's a yes or a no. I saw one of the questions there. How to see if it's a yes or a no. When do I use the outcome? When do I use the live door? When do I use the open door? All of those questions will be answered in this application section. Then after that, like we saw just now, with the investment question that is most likely a scam, it's going to be online. Now we've forecasted, we've gotten a better confirmation. Okay, it's probably a scam. Damn it, not a good situation. Now let's execute. How can we take the first steps to get the money back or recover as much of the money back? That's part of the execution section of Qimen. Rather than just forecasting, yeah, it's a scam. That's it. But what actions can we take? And how do we take it so that it maximizes our chance of success? And then lastly, I kind of mentioned this already, combining both the forecasting execution together, which is what I just mentioned. Okay, so this is just very, very simple. There are so many other applications of Qimen, like I showed at the start. There's Qimen Feng Shui, Destiny, and so on and so forth. But coming back down to the root and the most valuable application at this level will be forecasting and execution. And that's what we're going to focus on in the course. However, this is not suitable for you if you fall into one of these categories. I've seen this over and over again, and one of my seniors in the metaphysics space actually made this comment that made me like really think about this. You come to these seminars, you come to these webinars, and you see the same faces over and over and over and over and over again. They've taken the studies, they've taken the courses, but they don't do anything. So unfortunately, as much as I would love to help you, if you fall into that category, this is probably not for you. Okay, if you're learning just for fun, that's fine. But it's not the best use of both your energy and my energy. If you collect and forget, okay, this is great. I'm very inspired. I'm going to learn all this, but then I'm not going to probably do anything. Yeah, probably not the best use of both our energy and resources and time. On the left-hand side, if you're using this purely for personal profit and gain and not looking to help other people, then, it will work. But after a while, things will start to not be very great. Okay, there's always a price. And so if you're chasing purely for personal gain, this is probably not something I would recommend that you use at this point in time. And lastly, the main thing that blocks us from being able to use this effectively is the mindset of blaming people and things and everything around you except yourself. Okay. It's not that you are 100% to blame, but understanding that you, in your current state, in your current life experience, in the way that you have been brought up, the way that you think about things, when you read the chart, you are projecting who you are onto the chart as well. And so if that's something that is difficult to understand, if that concept or that idea is scary or not something that you're willing to accept, then Qimen will probably not work very well for you as well. Okay, so these are the four main categories that I probably would advise not going forward with Qimen. But if you genuinely want to help someone and you want to learn and take the first initial step to help the people around you, yes, we need to be able to settle our material and money and financial stuff first. But always remember, you want to help other people. If that's on your radar, then definitely this is something that I would recommend that you explore and take up. One last note also is that 2024 is already over 40% over. Okay, we are almost in June. So what do you want to achieve before 2025? That's the question that always drives me around the middle of the year. And I hope presenting this to you inspires you to make a decision as well. So that's it from me. Esther, do you want to close out with the last final slides?
Okay, sure. So, all right. So guys, okay. The link, I'm not sure why the QR. So, Cliff, thank you, Cliff. I mean, Cliff has presented a lot, and actually, we are seeing a lot more questions actually, but we cannot really answer all. So perhaps next time, maybe see how, or if you are really keen to join this class, by the way. So this is going to be a fundamental session. We're going to focus a lot in forecasting and execution. So it's very, very outcome driven. And just to also add into what I think it's going to be very interesting in this class, because it's a Qimen class, it's very unlike Feng Shui and also Ba Zi. Rest assured that the class is going to be conducted slightly differently as well. So it is going to be very practical based. It's going to be very case study based, because it's about application, as you can see during the Qimen journey. So if you're keen, of course, I'm not very sure why the QR code is very blur here, but please do sign up with us, because currently we're having this early bird price at 773 ringgit US dollar. Again, if you are paying it in other forms of payment system like PayPal. So I think Cindy has put up the link. Okay, yeah, great, right. So the link there, Cindy has put up the enrollment link in there. So this is when you click into the link, you can see more details, of course, like what can you get out from it, what's our key point, how long is the replay. I know many people will ask for the replay, but honestly, in our experience, it's always best to attend at real time, especially when it comes to when it comes to Qimen application. I would say, because we encourage a lot more interaction and case and work together with the buddies, and we're gonna learn more. Okay, that way, because it's Qimen, it's a very different model when it comes to other metaphysics system in terms of learning. So again, guys, early bird price will be up to 8th of June. So technically from now on until 8th of June. Okay. So this will be a 2 days class, 15th to the 16th of June, Saturday and Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be conducted in the afternoon, Malaysia and Singapore time. Okay, so this is going to be online as well. So if you do have a lot more questions, and if you want to really go into how to use a Qimen chart to make a lot of decisions for yourself, I really think this could be a very, very good start. And I think if you are very much into applying kind of person, this could be it as well, because we are trying to come up with a very different model and very effective system to allow everyone to be able to practice. Because like Cliff said, right, if you're here just to learn and stuff not apply. We see that in many cases, it doesn't really work out, and there's very little success stories, and that is the reason why we want to make it a bit more special. So again, feel free to sign up. The early bird is until 8th of June only. Okay, 8th of June only. All right. So what's next? Cliff, any more questions from the crowd, and anything you want to add, Cliff? Oh,
No. Yeah, no. I'm just
great.
let me stop sharing first so I can see everybody. There's no one to see. Yeah, no, thank you so much for your time today. I hope this demonstration was enlightening. And I honestly couldn't see the chat and all the questions coming in. So yeah, I hope that I managed to touch on at least some of your questions. And if you have more questions, I would love to have you in the class. And like what Esther said, how I teach my classes in Indonesia and in Singapore also is very much driven by you. If you have questions, then it is your class. You know what I mean? Rather than this is my case study. Whereas if it's something from you, right, you have a connection to that. You want to see you want to see how it works out. There's motivation, and then I will get all of you to read each other's chart, and so that's where you really get the real experience. This is like live stakes right now. Obviously I will step in and guide you through the entire process, but this is really hands-on. And I think the thing that I really appreciate about Esther's platform is that this is a small and intimate enough group such that we have the luxury to actually do this kind of hands-on practice rather than some of the other providers on the market. I mean, to be just very, very transparent, where you have thousands of people in the room, many hundreds of people in the room. It's very difficult to have that one-on-one customization, that relationship and reading ability. So that's the great thing about Esther's platform about this. Okay, so yeah, that's it from me. Anything else?
Sorry. So I'm seeing, Cliff, I'm not sure why you're not seeing the chat, but I'm looking at the chat. So you're seeing the chat, right? So there's quite a number of questions coming up. So I'm not sure whether we have time, but if you guys are really interested and to want to know, to get to know Cliff and for him to appear more, or perhaps want him to have more of other Qimen classes, please do let me know. Please do engage in our social media. Also, like, just drop us emails and stuff like that, because this is, by the way, I know many of you guys have been wanting to do Qimen, right? And I've been holding it until now. Okay, so really I've been holding it until now. And now he has Cliff here. He's specialized in Qimen itself. And that's the reason why it's that way, because it has to be taught in a certain way, right? So that boils down to our parts of charts. So if you guys are very keen, and I know that you guys are, again, if you cannot make it or whatsoever, do let us know, see what we can help you through. And you got questions, I know, maybe, I don't know, maybe see when we can arrange for another session of Q&A and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe then we can arrange, okay? All right, so thank you everyone for staying in. So let's wrap this up, guys. So Cliff, anything to say? Because I think we got to go now.
Yep. Yeah, no, all good for me. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for your time.
For those who have enrolled, by the way, I've noticed, yeah, okay, so for those who are asking, so yes, noted, I got you. Don't worry, you guys will get a confirmation. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.